everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer, and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I am going to be playing Arkham Horror the card game. Specifically, I am playing the Circle Undone campaign. This is scenario number 1. I did scenario 0 last week, so today I'm going to get going with scenario 1, which is called The Witching Hour. Now, I haven't set it up yet, but what I want to do is tell you the investigators that I'm going to be playing. So I've chosen Daisy Walker. She's known as the Librarian. I like playing Seekers and Guardians. It's just two of those classes that I really enjoy. So for the Guardian, the Seeker is Daisy. For the Guardian, I'm going to be playing Mark Harrigan, the Soldier. I've got their decks all picked out. Mark has his standard 30-card deck, plus a few things that he that aren't counted towards that 30. Like he's got Sophie, the home front, and a basic weakness called, I think, Shell Shock. Yeah. So he starts with those, and then a 30-card deck. I also need to draw a basic weakness. I haven't done that yet. I'll do that after I finish this. Daisy starts with 45 cards in her deck because I chose Forced Learning for her card, which gives her an increased deck size of 15, so 45 cards in all. And I've got her cards picked out except for her basic weakness, so I will get that done. What I want to do is read you the scenario intro and the act and the agenda, and then I will get going. So let me read this to you. So if you didn't watch the scenario zero, I wish you'd go watch that. It had me playing some non-traditional characters. They are in this house called the Twilight. Well, it's somebody's mansion. He's a member of the Silver Twilight Lodge. And apparently they were all either killed or disappeared. And so now the real story begins. It is a breezy November evening in Arkham. The perfect night for a walk through Independence Square. Or so you had thought, up until the moment Anna Caslow offered to tell your fortune. You agreed, though you would soon come to regret the decision. For each of the cards the Romani soothsayer draws from her deck, she weaves a tale of despair and misfortune. Judgment, temperance, justice, the hermit, the hanged man, the hierophant, the lovers, the chariot, the wheel of fortune. To complete her tale, Anna draws the top card and lays it in the center of the formation. Dominating the old worn card is the ominous image of a towering construct of black onyx. A hellish storm rages over the tower. Lightning coursing through the dead clouds. It reads, The Tower, XVI, 16. Even if the rest of the reading had gone swimmingly, the sight of the center card would have sent a shiver down your spine. As it stands now, it feels more like the closing of a casket over your body. You did tell me to give it to you straight, the soothsayer says. She sits cross-legged in front of you, wearing a stony, grim expression. From her unwavering gaze and her cold eyes, you can tell Anna derives no satisfaction from this reading. Simple misfortune is the least of your concerns, she explains. This is a matter of life and death. She motions to the cards surrounding the tower, each of them laid in the reverse position, and stares at them intently. Arrayed against you is everything that you cannot see. You alone stand in their way, she says enigmatically. The lead investigator must decide. Choose one. What can I do to avoid this fate? Go to intro 2. This is bullshit. Skip to intro 3. All right. Well, I'm an investigator. I've heard things, seen things. So let's see, what can I do to avoid this fate? Intro 2. The woman nods and draws the top card of the deck with a steady hand, revealing it to you without looking at it herself. Depicted on the card is a single wooden wand surrounded by a pattern of broken stained glass. It reads, Ace of Rods. You must be ready to act, she advises, without hesitation, without regret. When the opportunity arises, you must set into motion the things that will change this fate. In your campaign log, record that you have accepted your fate. All right, I will do that. Accepted your fate. And what I do is I star these and I circle them because they're things that later on are probably referenced. Add 2 tombstone tokens to the chaos bag. Okay, so we'll get these. Tombstone, there's 1 and there's 2. Alright, so I will add those to the bag, which are probably not good. Those are never good. And those will go into the bag. Then it says, before drawing his or her opening hand for this scenario, the lead investigator searches the collection for 1 copy of the Tower XVI and 1 copy of Ace of Rods and adds each of them to his or her deck if able. The lead investigator has earned these cards. They do not count towards his or her deck size. If one or both of these cards are not available, skip. Alright, so I skip to intro 4. Silence hangs in the air as you peer into the tower card. The world around you dissolves into emptiness as your eyes fixate on the Onyx Tower. Rolling thunder echoes in the distance. Do you understand now? Anna asks. There is no other sign of the soothsayer, only her strained voice. A bolt of lightning streaks across the sky. Do you see your fate before you as I do? Another resounding crack of thunder, and you are suddenly awake. Icy rain pelts your body, soaking you through to the bone. You are lying in the mud beside a wooden trail, and there is no other soul in sight. Alright, so now I will perform the setup, and then we will get going. So, if you'll give me just a few minutes to do that, I'll pause the camera, and I'll be right back. Alright, time to get started. I have shuffled my decks. Let me read you the agenda and the act. So these are weird. Agenda 1A, Temperance. It takes 8 doom to advance this. Remain calm and you may peer into an uncertain future. The balance of the universe has tilted. You are the fulcrum. Be patient and all will be revealed. Okay. And then the act, Lost in the Woods. You have awakened alone deep in the woods south of Arkham. The mysterious soothsayer is nowhere to be seen. You rise up from the muddy trail and try to find your bearings. An oppressive weight hangs in the air. Locations in front of you are connected to one another. You cannot enter locations in front of another investigator. Objective. At the end of the round, investigators may spend the required number of clues to advance. Alright, so what I did was there were 7 of these witch-haunted woods. I shuffled them up. And then for a 2-player game, I'm 1 player, but I'm playing 2 characters. You put 2 random in front of each one. And you reveal 1 at random. So let's do this one. And let's do that one. And these are where they wake up. And these are connected even if the symbols don't indicate it. And these 2 are connected. But she cannot cross here, he cannot cross there unless something changes in the game. Alright, let's go ahead and draw cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, Daisy is the lead investigator. She's the one that got those 2 special cards. That one's not bad. That one will not help me. That's a good one. Not a good one. I'm really going to regret giving up 3 cards because I'm probably going to draw a weakness. But let's draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Please don't be a weakness. That's not. I got a dodge, an evidence, and a manual dexterity. Alright, not too bad. And then Daisy starts with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she gets to draw her cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see what she's got. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. Lab assistant or research. Your maximum hand size increases by 2 while checking your hand size. After lab draws 2. Okay, I'll take that one. Alright. So I'll give up this one. I'll draw another one. Of course I got a weakness. And I got the one I don't want, which is the tower, which is the one that was given to me, and it's a bad one. You cannot commit cards to skill tests while this card is in your hand. If it is drawn during your opening hand, during setup, which it is, you cannot replace it. It must stay in your hand. Alright. So, that's bad. It says it's while it's in your hand, so you have to basically play it to get it out. All right, so we've got the starting hands. I've got the bag shuffled. Let's get going. All right, so Daisy's going to go first. She wakens in the witch-haunted woods, the lonely tree. You cannot investigate this location while you have between 3 and 5 cards in your hand. It has 2 clues, and it has a shroud of 2. Okay, so as a fast action, you choose and discard 1 card from your hand. Then an investigator at a different woods draws 1 card, or vice versa. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so she starts out with 5 cards, and it says if you have between 3 and 5. So if you have 3, 4, or 5, so I've got to get down to either 2. I got to get down to 2 cards. So you know what? We'll do it. We'll go ahead and play Tower to get it out, and it costs 4. That's 1 card gone. Second action, I will play Knife, which costs 1. And for her third action, she can't play any of these because they cost money and I don't have any left. So, for her third action, I will, it says you can discard a card and then an investigator at a different location can draw 1. So I will discard, I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it. This is a good card, but it costs cards to buff it up. So I'm going to get rid of Occult Invocation, which means Mark can draw a card. He gets Perception. I forgot to shuffle these 3 in. Sorry. Let's do that. I'll put this one back in. Because, to be fair, I might have drawn a weakness if I had shuffled, so let's do it right. Alright. And I get to draw 1 card. And he should have 5 already in his hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So his 6th card is Machete. Okay, so he has a weapon. Alright, so that was her third and final action, which was to get rid of a card to let him donate it. No, that was a fast action. You choose and discard 1 card from your hand. Okay, never mind. So I've still got 1 more action. I've got 2 cards, so I can choose to investigate. Her investigate is 5 versus 2. I will try this. 5 versus 2. 5 minus 1 is 4, so I do get a clue, and that is the end of her turn. All right. Mark's turn. Mark begins with 4 clues. 1, 2, 3. But a shroud of 3. Forced. After any number of clues are discovered from this location, each investigator at this location loses an equal number of resources. Great! Alright. So, you can't lose resources if you've spent them. So, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to get out Greta Wagner for 5. He now has an ally out. He gets +1 fight with her, which is good. Now, he will investigate. I'm going to fast play this, which gives him +2. So his investigate is 2, +2 is 4. 4 versus 3. Do I want to contribute anything else? I can't. I don't have any other cards to do. 4 versus 3, and if I'm successful, no, I just get 1 clue. Never mind. 4 versus 3. I do. 4 minus 0 is 4, so I do get a clue. Now, this says, after you discover it, you lose an equal number of resources, but I don't have any, so I don't have to lose any. And this goes away. That was his second action, because he played Greta. Third action, he'll just do a straight 2 versus 3 and hope for the best. Actually, you know what? No, he won't, because he could draw a bad token, which can cause you to have to lose cards or health and things like that. So rather than do that, I'm going to get a resource. Safe bet. And that is his third and final action. He played a card, he investigated, he got a resource. So he is done. During the next phase is the creature phase or enemy phase, and there are no enemies. So we go straight to the upkeep phase. These flip over. Everybody gets 1 resource. Mark draws a card. Perception. And Daisy, because of forced learning, which it should be permanent. I should have that card out. It's in here. When it comes due, I'll play it and then I'll draw another one. But it allows you to, it tells you you have to draw 2 cards and discard 1. However, if one is a basic weakness, you automatically have to take it. So 1, 2. I will take deduction. It's free. Scrying would be a great card to have, but I need clues to advance that agenda. All right, that is the end of the upkeep phase. It is now doom phase. I place a doom token, 1 out of 8, and now they draw cards. Daisy went first, so she draws first, and she gets Rotting Remains. Test 3 will. For each point you fail, take a horror. She has 3 will, and I will play... Well, the Holy Rosary, I don't want to donate it because it gives me +1 will permanently if I get it out as an asset. So I'm just going to do 3 versus 3 and hope for the best. 3 minus 1 is 2. So I failed by 1, so I do take a horror. Now, Mark draws. Frozen in Fear. Put it into play in your area. The first time you perform one of the following: move, fight, or evade, it costs an additional action. Forced. At the end of your turn, test 3 will. If you succeed, you can get rid of it. Alright, so it is now Daisy's turn. Daisy will investigate for this clue. She'll use... I don't want to use deduction because there's not a second clue to gain there. So I will just do... straight investigate. 5 versus 2. 5 plus 1 is 6, so she does get the last clue. And that earns her a victory point, by the way, so I'm just going to turn this one sideways. She'll move here for her second action. Flip it over. It's got 2 clues. 1, 2. And it's got a 3 shroud. And it says, investigators at other witch-haunted woods can commit 1 card to each skill test performed at this location and vice versa. So nice. So I can contribute a card to him, and he can contribute a card to me. Investigators at other witch-haunted woods can commit to each skill test performed at this. So I can, and vice versa. Nice. Okay, so it works both ways. So her third and final action will be to investigate. I will play deduction. If I'm successful, I get a second clue. She is 5, 6 versus 3. Do I want to contribute anything? I could do perception to make it 7, but I'm not going to. He's going to need that card. So we'll do 6 versus 3. And I'd make it. So she gets both clues. And that earns me a victory point. And she is done. But before her turn ends, she investigated, moved, investigated. Before her turn ends, she will pay these 4 clues to flip the act. As the rain lets up, a dense fog rolls in throughout the area. Soon all of the woods have vanished within the hazy fog. You call out for your companions, but none answer. You grope blindly in the haze, searching for something, anything to which you can cling. Each investigator must randomly choose one of the set-aside Arkham Woods locations, put it into play in front of him or her, and immediately move to that location. Cannot be canceled. All right, so there were 6 Arkham Woods cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to shuffle these up, and it says each must choose randomly. So I'm just going to keep shuffling and stop, and she will take the top one, and I'm going to shuffle, and I'm looking up at the camera up here so I don't get cheating. Actually, I could see on it, but I can't read it. And I'm going to take this one, which is Arkham Woods. All right. So you immediately move to that location. So she is now here. And the 3 clues he doesn't get. All right, so this gets revealed, and he immediately moves here, and it has 2 clues on it and a shroud of 3, and it says forced. When you move out of this location, test 3, investigate. If you fail, you cancel the move. So you get stuck in there. Hers has 2 clues on it. And it says, this location is investigated using agility instead of the skill indicated by the investigation attempt. Great. She has a horrible agility. Okay, so this goes away. So she flipped. She is done. So she's done. And now I need to read the second act. This one takes 2 clues to advance, 1 per investigator. Witch hauntings. Witch as in W-I-T-C-H. Whatever arcane rites are being practiced in these woods, they are attracting the attention of all manner of vile beasts, the likes of which you have never seen. Is this what the soothsayer was trying to warn you about? Locations in front of you are connected to one another. Okay, that makes sense. You cannot enter locations in front of others. Objective, if a single investigator spends 2 clues, advance. So only one can do it, instead of combining their clues. All right, it is Mark's turn. Well, Mark, you know what I forgot to do? The Frozen in Fear. Oh, actually, no, that was the card. So the first time you perform a move, fight, or evade, it costs an additional action. So I'm not going to move, fight, or evade. I'm going to investigate. I have a 3 shroud and a 2 investigate. So I will do perception, which knocks that up to 4 versus 3. Do I have any more? I do not. 4 versus 3 on the investigate. She can't contribute anything because she's not in this one anymore. 4 versus 3. Come on. Ooh, the headstone. What is that? -1. I did not fail. It says if you fail after this test resolves, draw the bottommost treachery in the discard pile. Ooh, okay. So I didn't fail it, which is good. So I do get a clue. Now he has 2. Because he got 1 from here. So I'm going to go ahead and spend these 2 to advance this act. As you scour the woods for answers, or a path that will lead you back home, you find yourself drawn off the beaten trail by a mesmerizing melody of silver pipes. Deeper into the damp, hazy woodland you delve, searching for the source of the strange music. Finally, you come upon a foggy clearing, at the center of which lies a half-rotted tree stump, silently beseeching you to approach. The moment you touch the instrument, the piping melody that lured you here is cut short, and the dense fog around you disperses with a sudden breeze. For the remainder of the scenario, investigators may now enter locations in front of other investigators. Nice. And this goes away, and we reveal Act 3. This one takes 6 clues to advance. Paths into twilight. With the strange fog dispersed, you are now able to explore the woods. You are unable to find the main path that leads back to Uptown, but this is your chance to discover more about the ritual the witches are conducting. Locations in front of you are connected to one another. So now I can freely move back and forth. All right, nice. So they're all connected. So I guess I can move from here to there. Isn't that what it says? Locations in front of you are connected to one another. So yeah, they're all connected. That's cool. All right. No real reason to go back here, so I'm going to kind of shift these over to the side. Pull these down here. Pull this down. All right, so who did that? That was Mark. Mark investigated. He got the clue, which allowed me to advance that. Now I'm going to get another clue, which is just 2 versus 3. And he does no help here. So rather than waste an opportunity and possibly lose that turn, instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a resource for my second action. And for my third action, I'm going to play Machete. And that costs 3. So now I have a weapon and an ally out. That's the end of his turn. At the end of his turn, I have to test 3 will to see if I can get rid of this. And his will is 3, and I will get rid of... I'm going to use Steadfast. I love this card. Normally it gives +1 will. However, if you have 5 or more remaining total health plus sanity, it gains another will. While you have 10 or more total remaining health and sanity, I have 14, it gains 2 more. So it's +3. 3 plus 3 is 6. I love that. 6 versus 3. I should be able to get rid of this. Hopefully. 6 versus 3. 6 minus 1 is 5, so I'm able to get rid of that curse, and his turn is over. All right, there are no creatures in play, so it's upkeep phase. Flip these over. Everybody gets a resource. Mark draws a card. He got Safeguard. She draws 2 and keeps 1. Mind over Matter or Hyper Awareness. Well, I love Mind over Matter because it lets you use discover or investigate in place of agility, which is going to let her get out of this. So I will take that card. It is now Doom. 2nd out of 8 placed, and who went first? Daisy went first, so she draws Ancient Evils. Place a Doom on the main agenda. So there's 3 now. Mark draws Centuries of Secrets. Revelation. Test 5 will. For each point you fail by, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If a curse card is discarded, deal 1 direct damage to your investigator and each ally. Ooh. Okay. So 5 will. I only have 3. I'm gonna make this one to go to 4. And I'm gonna make this one go to 5. So 5 versus 5. Oops, I dumped all the tokens out. 5 versus 5. Let me refill the token bag. Everything dumped out accidentally. So hopefully I won't fail by too many points. Alright, so shake it up. 5 versus 5. Ooh, the skeleton. Skeleton is -1, so I failed by 1. For each point you fail, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Discard. For each point you fail by, discard the top card. So you discard it. Okay. And then, because I failed it by 1, for each point you fail, discard the top card, and if it's a curse, I only do 1 card, it's a curse. So, the curse says you deal 1 direct damage to you and an ally. So Mark takes 1, and Greta takes 1. Alright. And she's only got 3 health, so she's got to watch her. Alright, that is the end of the Doom phase. Let's get her investigating. So I've got, this says fast play. Okay, to investigate I have to use agility. So I will pay 1 to play this during your turn. Until the end of the round, you can use investigate in place of agility. So once again, I'm 5 versus 2, and and it says until the round, so this stays. So 5 versus 2 for action number 1. And I got it. 5 plus 1 is 6, so I got a clue. Second action, 5 versus 2. Oh, the Elder Sign. It's +0. I still fit, but if you succeed, draw 1 card for each tome you control. Well, I don't have a tome, so never mind. I don't get to draw anything. But she still gets the second clue, which is excellent. And for her third and final action, she'll move to here. Well, this one hasn't been revealed. She can move anywhere. Forced. After any number of clues are discovered, each investigator loses an equal number of resources. Well, I don't know what the shroud is going to be here or what the negative is going to be. She's got 2. She needs 3, 6. So let's move. I want to see what this is. Let's move here. We flip it. Oh, it's a 4 shroud. And 4 tokens, or 4 clues. So she could get the agenda moving. If she gets those 4 plus these 2 is 6 to get that going. All right. It says forced. After any number of clues are discovered, each investigator must discard an equal number of cards at random from his hand. So if I pull a clue, I got to discard a card at random. That sucks. All right. She's done. She investigated, and moved. All right. So she is done. Mark only has manual dexterity. So let's get him. His investigate is 2. He's not going to do much. Well, I got 3 chances. Maybe I'll get a +1 and get 1 more clue. Let's do it. He's going to, I hate to waste his, you know what? He's going to stay put. He'll draw a card for action number 1. All right, he's going to draw a card for action number 2. Okay, and he's going to draw a resource for action number 3, and he is done. All right, no creatures, upkeep phase, these flip over. Everybody gets a resource. Mark draws another card. He got a weapon, 32 Colt, nice. And she draws 2, Overpower and Flashlight. I will take the Flashlight. Helps you reduce the shroud value. All right, that is it for the investigator phase. Now it's time for the Doom phase.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.
All right, Doom phase, place a Doom token. There's 4 out of 8. Who went first? Daisy went first. Isn't that right? Yeah. She draws Dissonant Voices. Put this in your threat area. You cannot play assets or events. At the end of the round, discard it. Okay. Mark draws Diabolic Voices. Everybody's hearing voices. It's a curse. Test 3 will. For each point you fail, discard 1 random card from your hand. For each card you cannot discard, take one horror or 1 damage. This test gets +1 difficulty for each copy of Diabolic in play. All right, there's only 1. 3 will. He's got a 3 will. I will contribute this to make it 4. 4 versus 3. And I do pass it, so good. He does not have to worry about that. All right. It is Daisy's turn. Now the question is a 4 shroud. She's got Flashlight, though, so that can help. Let's do this. I'm going to... you cannot play asset... Oh. She got this at the end of the round, discard it. So she can't do anything. She can't play assets or events. Well, darn it. But she can investigate. She can at least try. So I'll go 5 versus 4. 5 versus 4. And first action, 5 versus 4. 5 plus 1 is 6. She gets a clue. Second action, 5 versus 4. 5 plus 1 is 6. She gets another clue. And third and final action, 5 versus 4. 5 minus 0 is another clue. She's got 5 clues out of the 6 needed to advance that. And she is done. All right, Mark's turn. Well, Mark didn't get anything that will help him. So I'm going to put out his weapon. It costs 3 and it has 6 ammo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now he's got a gun in one hand and a knife in the other. You can only have two handheld objects out, and I've got them. So that was his first action. Second action, I will draw a card. He got evidence. Third action, I will get a resource, and he is done. So far, knock on wood, this has been a really unusual game. Very few enemies. Everything seems to be going my way. Okay, so he is done. No enemies. Upkeep phase. Flip these over. Let's see, what was I saying? Oh yeah, resource. Oh yeah, at the end of the round, I can discard that. Well, it's upkeep. This is the end of the round, so this goes away. He draws a card. He gets Guts. She gets Cryptic Writing and Burning the Midnight Oil. Both of them give me 2 resources. When you do an investigate, when this action begins, gain 2. This one just says gain it. After you draw it as a fast action, you can play it. I will go ahead and play that and get 2 resources. So because it was a fast action, I can do it. All right. That is the end of the upkeep phase. Place a Doom token. Now there are 5 out of 8. Daisy went first, so she draws Racked. Put it into play in your threat area. You are -1 to each of your skills during the first skill test you perform each round. As an action, you can test 3 will. If you succeed, discard it. If there is an exhausted witch enemy at your location, this test is automatically successful. There is no witch. So that's not a good card, but I can live with it. Mark draws another Diabolic Voices. Test 3 will. His will is 3. I will contribute Guts to make it 4-5. 5 versus 3. Five minus 3 is 2, so I failed it by 1. Discard 1 random card from your hand. Well, I'll just shuffle these up, and I'll go with that one. Overpower. Okay, that's not too bad. I would have, any of these I could have lost. No big deal. All right, so that is the end of the Doom phase. Daisy needs to get this last clue so I can get victory points here. All right, so she has a 5 investigate. She can play assets, so I tell you what, I'm going to play flashlight. Now both her hands are full. She's got a knife and a flashlight, and it costs her 2, and it has 3 uses. That was her first action. Second action, I'm going to spend a flashlight to lower this by 2. So she's doing 5 versus 2. Ooh, the Elder Sign, which is +0, right? But if you have a tome, I do not. So she still succeeds. So she gets the last clue. This turns, because I've got a victory point there. I can spend, it says, 6 to advance. All right, so I will pay these 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to advance this. Oh, the witch's. It's something that encounter. All right, it's a location. Revelation. Put it into play in the center of the play area, in front of none of the investigators. The lead investigator spawns the set-aside Annette Mason at the witch's circle. Forced. After the enemy phase begins, move each ready, unengaged witch once towards the witch's circle. All right, so let's do this. So I'm going to shift these. This is here. I'm going to move this over. She's still here. And Annette. There was an Annette. Here it is. All right, so Annette, and it said move it to here. The lead investigator spawns the set-aside Annette Mason at the witch's circle. All right, so Annette is a witch. She has 4 fight, 8 health. Ow. She has retaliate. All right, so forced. After the enemy phase begins, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Spawn each witch enemy discarded at her location. If no witch enemies get discarded, ready her. If no witch enemies are ready her. Discard the top 3. Spawn each witch enemy. Oh, so if she attacks you and there's no witches, she'll ready and attack again. Okay, got it. All right, so she just got, for her first action, she played a flashlight. For second action, she investigated. For her third and final action, she will move here with Mark, and she is done. She can't do anything else. Why does she need to move to Mark? Well, she can invest it. We need clues. I don't know why we need clues, but because, oh yeah, let me read the last act. A circle unbroken. You come across a clearing where a ritual circle has been constructed. Several hooded figures stand around it in a trance, unaware of your presence. Overlooking the ritual is a powerfully built woman who brandishes a long, wavy dagger as she sees you approach. Leave this place at once, she commands. Locations in front of you are connected. Objective: if Annette Mason is defeated, advance. Objective: if there are no clues on the witch's circle, advance. I forgot to place clues there. There are 6 clues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can get all the clues to advance, or I can kill her. So we'll see how this plays out. All right, Mark's turn. Let's get Mark into the game here. All right, so Mark will move for 1 action. He will move towards the witch's circle, which means Annette is going to engage him. And that's fine, because I got a machete and a Colt with your name on it. All right, let's do this. For his second action, he will shoot the Annette Mason. It says, spin an ammo fight, you get +1 damage, and because I have the knife, I also get +1 fight. If the attacking enemy is the only enemy engaged, +1 damage. So I'm doing 3 damage if I hit her with this. And my fight is 5, 6. 6 versus 4, and I have nothing to contribute, although, nope, Daisy doesn't either. All right, 6 versus 4. Come on. Six plus 1 is 7, so I do 3 damage to her. 1, 2, 3. All right. For his second action, he's going to do it again. He'll shoot another bullet, use the machete, so it's 6. Oh, hold on, 7, because Greta gives him +1 fight. 7 versus 4. And it says, after you defeat an enemy, exhaust her, deal 1 damage, discover a clue. I don't think the clues are going to matter if I beat her, but we'll see. All right, 7 versus 4. 7 minus 2 is 5, so I do another 3 damage. 1, 2, 3, and that is Mark's turn. Mark flips over. Okay, it is the beginning of the enemy phase. So the first thing that will happen is Annette will attack me. She exhausts, and she does 1 damage and 1 sanity. I'll put the sanity on Greta, and I'm going to also put the damage on her as well. She's got 2 out of 3 damage and 1 out of 2 sanity, so she's okay. All right. Then, because she's exhausted, it says after the enemy phase begins. This says part of the what put it into play. The center in front of there. After the enemy phase begins, move each ready enemy towards the witch. Okay, there are no ready witches, but this is going to spawn them. After the enemy phase, discard the top 3 cards. Spawn each witch. All right, 1, 2, 3. No witches. I know there were witches in there. I know there were. All right. Then this says, her card says she's exhausted. So it says, if no enemies were discarded, ready her. So she is ready. So she can attack again next turn, but I'm not going to give her that chance. So no more creatures. We put a doom token. This is number 6 out of 8. Daisy went first. Evil passed. Put it into play in your area if there are no copies of it already there. If it was, you gain surge. When the encounter deck runs out of cards, take 2 horror and test 3 will. If you succeed, you can discard this. Well, the deck is pretty full, so I'm hopeful this won't happen for a while. Mark draws Bedeviled. Put it into play in your area. You cannot trigger action abilities on cards you control. Oh, man. Not good. Test. As an action, test 3 will. If you succeed, you can discard it. If there is an exhausted witch at your location, this test is automatically successful. If there is an exhausted witch at your location. There's not. She's not exhausted. That would have been great. All right, so that's it for the Doom phase. Let's have Daisy. See if Daisy can finish this. She's got 6 out of 8. She needs 2 more damage. So I forgot to flip these over. All right, so I'm going to try something real weird here. Daisy sees Mark fighting and decides to ignore that. She runs. She moves up here. She can attack Annette, even though Annette is engaged with Mark. She has a knife. She can, as an action, she can discard it. She gets +2 fight and deals +1 damage. So that knocks her fight up to 4. And if she wins, she will do 2 damage, which 2, 4, 6, which is enough to kill Annette. It's a long shot. What did I say? 4. It's a 4 versus 4. She has nothing to help her. Mark could contribute nothing. So it's a straight up fight. 4 versus 4. Come on, Daisy. 4 versus 4, and I pull the skull, -1. So she failed it, and for each point you fail, discard the top card. All right, so that goes away. So this deck is getting thinner. All right, so Daisy moved, she fought, and instead of fighting this turn, she will play an asset. She will play a lab assistant for 2. Lab assistant says your hand size increases by 2. After she enters play, draw 2 cards. 1, 2. All right. She moved, she fought, she played lab assistant, so she is done. Mark's got to kill her, but the problem is I can't use my Colt. Oh, I can. Hold on. I have to test 3 will. All right, so his will. Oh, he can't. She's active, so she will hit him. I'm going to do it. He's going to take an action other than fight or evade, which means she gets a free hit. So she's going to do 1 damage to him and an insanity. Now, he's going to try this test 3 will to get rid of this stupid punishment. I'm going to donate this to him to make it 4 versus 3. Oh, I auto-failed. All right. If you succeed, okay. So I failed it. All right, so the only thing he can really do right now is fight her hand-to-hand. He can't do an action, so he will do 5, 6 versus 4. Second action, 6 versus 4. 6 minus 1 is 5, so it puts 1 more damage. And for his third and last one, he will do it again. 6 versus 4. Does he beat her? He does. He gets the Elder Sign, which says +1 for each damage. So he gets +2. So definitely enough to kill her, which is probably not going to make me any friends. Victory 2. If Annette Mason is defeated, advance. All right, so the dumb part is I didn't get this victory point or this, or I missed out on a victory point. That's okay. 2 victory points. 3. I missed out on 3. Darn it. All right, if you advance by defeating Annette, stop, the Coven's leader yells in a commanding voice, grimacing from the wounds you've inflicted. You're not sure if she's speaking to you or to the hooded women surrounding you, but regardless, there is a sudden stillness in the clearing around the circle. Read Resolution 1. All right, Resolution 1. Here we go. Despite her wounds, the leader of the Coven rises to her feet. More of the hooded figures emerge from the tree line, eager to defend their leader. Interloper, one calls you, pulling off her hood and pointing a gnarled wooden rod in your direction. Her bright red hair glows in the firelight, embers dancing about her extended hand. They're the ones from before, High Priestess, the ones who interfered with our great work. The High Priestess holds up a single hand, and a hush falls over the other witches. As always, I admire your perseverance, sister, but I do not believe these are the ones you speak of, she replies to the red-haired accuser. You lower your weapons as several of the hooded figures approach and surround their leader. They begin chanting in a soft tone as they examine her wounds. The red-haired witch crosses her arms and watches you with a hard glare, her gaze never straying far from you. I am Annette, says the leader of the Coven, and these are my sisters. Tell me, who are you and why are you here? You explain how you awoke in the woods, how you were attacked by terrible creatures, and how you came to the center of this circle in order to break the spell surrounding the woods. Annette's eyes narrow as she hears your story. That is impossible. The circle was closed. None could enter the woods while we were completing our spell. She grits her teeth. You must go at once. This is not your place. But High Priestess, the red-haired witch exclaims, only to be interrupted by Annette's gaze. The two lock eyes, a battle of wills that quickly proves Annette victorious. Stand down, Aaron, Annette says with a firm motherly tone, as though admonishing a child. She turns her attention back to you as the witch named Aaron lowers her head in defeat. Go. You've broken the spell just as you desired. You can leave the woods now, but I give you one final warning. Cross us again, and we will not be so merciful. You begin to protest, but before you are able to utter a single word, a dark gale snuffs out the fire at the center of the clearing. Shadows from beyond the tree line suddenly twist and coil into the clearing, tugging at the edges of the witches' cloaks. One by one, the shadows twist and pull each of the witches into the darkness beyond. In moments, they are gone. You are left with only the soft glow of moonlight to guide you home. In your campaign log, record witch's spell broken. All right, I can do that. Witch's spell broken. Remember, all these things come in later into the game. In your campaign log, under mementos discovered, okay, mementos, record mesmerizing flute, and ritual components. Okay. Each investigator earns 1 bonus XP as he or she gains insight into Arkham's mysterious past, so +1 XP bonus. And then it says each investigator earns XP equal to the victory value. Okay, well the victory value is 1, 2, 3, and Annette, wherever she is, I think she was a bunch. Annette was 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't get this one, that's it. So I got 5 XP, not bad. I will take that. So 6 in all with the bonus. So I got 6 XP total per investigator. And I will be using that to upgrade their decks. All right, well, not a bad start to the game. I know that things are going to get much, much dangerous. This one, the first scenarios always seem to be a little, tame. Well, I won't say tame, but they can be. But the good news is I survived with both of my investigators, and I will be back in a week with the next episode, which is going to be Scenario 2, At Death's Doorstep. All right, this is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like what you hear, leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you play the game, like the game. I really enjoy anything Arkham or Cthulhu or Mythos, Lovecraft based. So this is just a no-brainer to me. All right, I'll be back in a week with the next scenario. Until then, everybody, take care.